In this video, you're going to see a clip of the lawyer for over 30 of sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's victims telling us what he knows about whether or not President Trump was in some way involved in Epstein's sex trafficking operation. This is a lawyer who has been involved with the case for over a decade, a lawyer who has questioned President Trump on the issue personally. You're not going to see this video in the mainstream. You're going to see it here right now. What's up, guys? Epstein is back in the news because Trump's labor secretary, Alexander Acosta, is being accused of being responsible for granting Epstein, who was facing potentially life in prison, that illegal sweetheart deal back in 2006 when Acosta was the federal prosecutor down in Miami. Now, this has led many to speculate, even conclude, that because of this, Trump must also some way have been involved in Epstein's sex trafficking operation. The logic being that why would Trump put this guy in the White House as his labor secretary if he wasn't also some way involved with Epstein's operation? That's why this video is important, because people are coming to conclusions about whether or not someone is guilty of some sort of international sex crime, pretty bad crime, without first considering perhaps the most important information from the most credible source on the subject. Why is that? Why are people coming to these conclusions without having the most vital information? Simple. The news media is leaving it out of their reporting on the story, and that should piss you off. Regardless of whether you like Trump or hate him, it should piss you off that the media is not showing you this clip. I don't think a person with a thinking brain in America would disagree that statements from a guy who's been fighting for the victims for over 10 years against Jeffrey Epstein, who has personally questioned Trump on the subject, are important. Can anybody say that his statements aren't important? Yet the news media doesn't tell you about them. I'm going to play you this clip. This is Bradley Edwards, lawyer for over 30 of Jeffrey Epstein's victims. I urge you to watch this not through a partisan lens. Watch it and ask yourself, is this vital information? Should this be considered? And then think about why it wasn't.
Our current president has had relationships with Epstein in the past, and there are those Katie Johnson and maybe other victims who have accused Trump of being involved in things like this. In my experience, Trump supporters will not listen to anything along those lines. Obviously, we're not a court of law here right now, but are those claims of that case was dropped? It was dropped before it went to court. In your opinion as a lawyer and your experience, is there anything you can say as to the validity of those claims, or whether or not there will be any more about that?
Nothing at all. The only thing that I can say about President Trump is that he is the only person who, in 2009, when I served a lot of subpoenas on a lot of people, or at least gave notice to some pretty connected people that I wanted to talk to them, he is the only person who picked up the phone and said, let's just talk. I'll give you as much time as you want. I'll tell you what you need to know, and was very helpful in the information that he gave, and gave no indication whatsoever that he was involved in anything untoward whatsoever, but had good information that checked out and that helped us, and that we didn't have to take a deposition of him.
And that was in 2009?
That was in 2009.
Seems like pretty important information to me. Doesn't prove anything 100% either way, but definitely seems like something that should be involved in any conversation people are having about whether or not Trump was in some way involved in Jeffrey Epstein's international sex trafficking operation. That seems like something that people should factor in. What do you think? Can anybody say that it shouldn't? If you can't, if you think that this should have been reported, if the media were being responsible, then share this video. Anytime you see people on social media talking about how guilty Trump is of being involved with Jeffrey Epstein because of this Acosta story, share this video with them and say, hey, here's the lawyer of the victims talking. Even if you hate Trump, you should want to do that. If you care more about truth than you do validating your hate of Trump, then you should want to share this video with people who are talking about whether or not he was involved in that sex trafficking operation. If you care more about truth than validating a predetermined belief. Share this video wherever you see people having this conversation online, because the news media will not do it, and that should piss you off. The story they're telling about Acosta is not accurate either. I put all this stuff online before, but it got purged, so I'm not going to do it again. But you go read the case files at pacer.com, I think it is, and you will see that Acosta was a small player. The high-powered legal team of Jeffrey Epstein bullied and threatened the prosecutors. They did opposition research on their families, tried to smear them. They were encircled by some of the most powerful organizations in the world. The Clinton Global Initiative, the Rockefeller Foundation, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission. All of these groups were included in the plea negotiation letter as the reference points as to why Epstein should get a deal. The plea negotiation letter is what got Epstein the deal. Acosta was a small player. Imagine if you were encircled by the world's most powerful organizations, threatening you. He played a role, a very minor one. Real fake news relies far less on overt lies than it does on lies by omission. They include facts in the story that can be verified by the reader while excluding the most vital facts which would transform the meaning of the story, leading the reader to drawing a false conclusion. That is the lie. The reader never even knows that the other facts even existed. That's how real fake news works. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Share with your friends. Comment. Tell me what you think. And if you want to become a Patreon, if you want to help out, we need all the help we can get. Our videos, our podcasts get suppressed all the time. Our website was purged a while ago. We've been rebuilding it slowly. We need all the help we can get. Donate through PayPal, through Patreon, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, guys.